always go to the beach. Family, you know, cousins, whatever, friends. I just didn't expect that to happen. You know, it's just a normal day for me to go down to the beach, you know.
It was a disastrous day to be Lebanese and to go to the beach. 18-year-old Issa is so shaken by his experience yesterday and the possibility of reprisals, he wants to be known by his first name only.
And then I just got smacked from behind, and then everyone just started throwing punches, bottles, fell to the ground. Everyone just kept kicking me. And one bloke, you know, Aussie bloke, see, not everyone's the same. He got on top of me, he goes, mate, I'm just protecting you. Just sat on top of me, and he goes, just wait. And I just kept getting kicked, you know, it was just protecting my head and that, you know. And, like, I've got my eye here, my neck, like all my neck to down, like, halfway in my back. Got bruises on my body, like, it's not something I had expected.
Unwittingly, he was heading directly into a drunken storm, an incendiary combination of booze, twisted nationalism and naked racism.
People have got anger towards, all comes back on that, on terrorism. We're terrorists. See, while I was in the crowd, people were yelling out, watch out, he's got a bomb, he might blow himself up, you know? What are you doing in the middle of the crowd if you've got a bomb? That's all they were saying. You know, I'm not a terrorist, I'm nowhere near that.
The day started with a carnival-like atmosphere, but it was almost inevitable that this show of strength would descend into violence. And while bigotry may be age-old, this baying mob was called to arms via the most modern of means. For days, text messages had been circulating which could leave no one in any doubt as to the intention of the day and the sentiments of those organising it. One message read,
Aussie in the Shire, get down to North Cronulla to help support Leb and Wog Bashing Day. Bring your mates down and let's show them that this is our beach and they're never welcome back. The Lebs, Wogs. Let's kill the
I think the Shire's sort of almost like a big village. And people in the Shire, we've had probably not too much invasion from the outside. The Shire tends to be like a forgotten area, although it probably isn't now. And we've had this racial problem has been something that has been stepping up for a number of years.
I am Australian. I was born here. You know, my mates are Aussie as they say. My neighbours are all Aussie. Get along perfect. You know, it's just the people from Sutherland Shire that got something against us, but we've got nothing against them personally. You know, we just want to go down there and have a good time. And how they say we want our beach back, they're saying this isn't your beach. Well, it's not their beach either.
Cronulla is part of Sydney's Sutherland Shire. Resident of more than 40 years, John Widmer, watched with shock as the violence unfolded, but he shares the frustration which has been building among locals for years, and then came to a head the previous weekend when 2 Cronulla lifeguards were allegedly attacked. For John Widmer, it was the last straw.
I don't mind anybody coming here, as long as you're going to respect what happens here as general public.
And what has been happening?
We've had some ethnic groups coming in, causing problems.
In what way?
Disrespect to the females in the area, in the majority of cases.
How's that expressed itself?
Fear amongst most of the women. I've got, you know, a 4-year-old girl and my partner have been harassed down here by, you know, gangs of youths over the years.
What shape's that taken?
Soccer balls being kicked at them, you know, names being called at them, which is uncalled for. And I think it's a lack of respect for women, whether that be in their own culture or not. And I think the minority is causing a problem for the majority. I don't tarnish all people, all Muslims or anything as being anything. And I think yesterday was a prime example. We had some idiots here causing problems as well.
Today, Cronulla was the calm after the storm, sparkling in the summer sun and covered in police.
Part of the discussion has been the role that the media's played in perhaps whipping up hatreds or resentments within the community.
The shocked public were attempting to make sense of it all on Talkback Radio. Reactions swinging from outrage at the random rolling violence to sympathy for the plight of locals.
I mean, yesterday what we saw was a nation of convicts acting as criminals. And, I mean, I was absolutely disgusted.
They flick their cigarettes everywhere. They play football right next to them. Why aren't the council taking more responsibility, not only the police?
The political action was swift. Condemnation of mob violence. The Prime Minister, John Howard, appalled by what he saw but unconvinced that it exposed any widespread or endemic racism.
I think it's important that we don't rush to judgment about these events. I do not accept that there is underlying racism in this country. I have always taken a more optimistic view of the character of the Australian people.
At state level, a police task force has been set up. It's brief to identify those who took part in yesterday's violence and, importantly, to track down the original author of the inflammatory text message.
I have seen women, never in my working life did I ever imagine a mob, a drunken mob, turning on a woman, an innocent woman who happened to stray into their path.
The broader challenge is not only the re-establishment of order and the prosecution of those involved, but to also make sense of this mob violence and the deep-seated hostilities that propelled it. Territorial, even tribal battles along Sydney's beaches are nothing new. For decades, locals have fought with those they've regarded as outsiders. But yesterday's violence was different, and not just because of its size and fury.
I'm trying to recollect a period in Australian history that I can remember where we've seen this type of, I suppose, racially motivated attack on a specific minority.
Kuranda Sayat spent yesterday at Sydney's Maroubra Beach before the violence fanned out from Cronulla and took over Maroubra later in the afternoon. He believes there is blame on both sides of this beachfront battle.
There are some ratbags amongst them, and we can't blame the whole community for that. What happened yesterday, innocent people walking in the streets, families were terrorised, women were terrorised. The actions of those few hooligans have now placed all people of Middle Eastern background in jeopardy as they peacefully walk through the streets or enjoy the beach.
The riots present community leaders like Kuranda Sayat and Cronulla local MP Malcolm Kerr with a profound challenge. How can further violence be prevented when the battle lines in this turf war are blurred by ethnicity and religion?
Well, you go back to the core problem and ensure that people can go to the beach, into parks, without being subjected to any antisocial behaviour. So,
and what does that mean? For the people of Cronulla, what does antisocial mean?
Antisocial behaviour means being assaulted, being spat at, and being abused when you go down to the beach or a park with your children.
And how widespread is that in your view?
That's been quite widespread of a weekend over the last few years.
By whom?
Oh, by Middle Eastern gangs and just generally.
What do you mean by Middle Eastern gangs? I mean, how do you characterise it?
Oh, people of Middle Eastern appearance. Some of them will undoubtedly be Lebanese, and that's a matter of public record.
I've just been thrown, totally out of whack in terms of my understanding of where I am here in Australian history. I think that we are now going down a very, very dangerous and shaky path.
Already there are reports of a new wave of text messages urging a repeat performance this coming weekend or even revenge attacks. This in the place locals proudly call God's country, a place which yesterday looked more like a battle zone and a place which, for some, is now a no-go zone.
Makes you feel like you're a nobody. Well, let's hope it's not heading to a racial war or something,